Hello, Colin again. Coming back after the IBM review. Of course, I thought my IBM board was going to be the last board I purchased, because I really do still love it. But that's never how it goes, is it? For anyone that's in the keyboard hobby, there's never an end game. It's a lie. It's a ruse. It's a ruse. Don't fall for it. But anyway, so I joined the Topre hype. I had seen like a bunch of reviews for it from like a whole ton of different creators, like the Switch Topre. I'd watched Cryosin, or I don't know how to say his name. I'm so sorry. Like Cryosin 22. Hippio did a video on it. I remember Hippio Tech. I think Squashy Boy did a video on it. JYMV always reps the HHKB. He says how much he likes it for his work keyboard. And then what finally made me want to purchase the board was Shoobs posted a video, and he had like 5 different Topre boards, and I was like, okay, that does sound awesome. He's very excited about it. I want to buy one too. It definitely wasn't cheap. It's actually kind of like ties in price for the IBM board. But some things that are different about it that I really like are how, like, because I had to mod the IBM board to have a detachable cable. So of course this one's even got like a wireless Bluetooth in it. So it's a big upgrade in that regard. And the Switch just feels amazing. I mean, for MX, I've only really tried like cherry browns, Gateron black inks, and box whites. Those are like really the only, and I've used alpacas before. I really like alpaca. One of my friends has it. But the Topre switches, the Topre has like the most satisfying return stroke of any keyboard I've tried. Like I've never had a keyboard where the key actually kind of has like a haptic feeling when it returns. Like, usually when you're talking about the tactility, it's always at the top, and it's always when you're pressing the key, and then you get the return click, of course. But like on Topre, it almost feels like the key is pushing back into your finger. I really enjoy it. And it was delivered like pretty flawlessly. I can't remember the exact, I think it was like a 2-week shipping time, honestly. It was much longer than I was kind of anticipating. But I did order directly through the HHKB website, so maybe that if you go through like the PFU Richt store or whatever, maybe there's like an American vendor or American warehouse on that website. I'm not sure. Took a while to get delivered, but there was no problems with it. All the pieces that were supposed to be in the box were in the box. There was no scratching on the case. There were a couple streaks where the light would catch on the plastic. It's kind of like that's like the injection molded for the case. Like that's just an issue with manufacturing. You can't really like do much about that. And yeah, there's a ton of screws on the back of this thing. It reminds me of the GMMK Pro videos I saw where everyone's complaining about the like 12 or 13 screws on the back of it. The HHKB is kind of similar, so you really, really, really don't want to have to open the board if you do something wrong in the modification, or like if you know that your spacebar's ticking, do not reassemble it until you know that it's fixed, because that's what I'm doing here in this video. I like had to reopen the board, re-lube the spacebar stab, or the wire, and then put it all back together again. And you'll see I have like the foam in the case. That's that white bit. I cut it up into a bunch of little pieces. Don't ask me about that. I don't know why I did that. I was paranoid about it jutting up against the battery and the ribbon cable, but I don't think it was necessary at all. And then the green tape is force break mod. You could use black tape to make it look better for the case, or white tape if you have the white case. It's just basically to like prevent the two pieces of plastic from hitting each other when you're pressing the case down as you type, because it is an integrated plate on the top part, which some people say they have a problem with, the like integrated plates. And yeah, like, I mean, if you have a gasket build and then you use an integrated plate, like, there's no point in doing that. Or like top mount with integrated. But it's good enough. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm typing into a brick or something. Because the key weighting is really light. I think it's like I think stock is 55 grams or 45 grams. I think it's 55. Although, like, no, it's 45. It's 45, I think. Oh god, I can't remember. But it feels way lighter than my Otemu Reds. That's why I say 45. But another cool thing about the board is it has a keycap profile that is kind of close to cherry, but not quite. It's like a little bit taller on the third row and second row. But then the keycaps have these really nice tapered ends. So like instead of just going down like a pyramid, it kind of like goes down straight for the last like millimeter of the keycap, and it has like a kind of reflective, smooth lip at the bottom, so they look really nice. I really am a fan of the keycaps, and I have the blank ones. I kind of wish I got printed, but I'm slowly learning the touch typing, so it's working out for the most part. Except I never know how to press my hyphen key. I always misclick equal sign, but that's besides the point. One of the updates I saw that they did with the boards, I guess they did this in like 2020 or like 2021, was all the boards now have, or I think all the boards now, because mine does, and I don't know why they would only have it for the hybrid, but they have these 4 really nice textured adhesive feet on the bottom of the case with like a diamond texture, and you cannot move the case. Like, I can like hit it with both fingers and like banging it kind of, and it really only goes forward like a couple centimeters, so it's really, really good. What else? Yeah, so the mods, I already kind of talked a little bit about the mods. I did Tempest mod, so you don't see that here, but that's where you put the tape on the backside of the PCB. It kind of helps give your case like a, people say, poppier sound profile. I think it just makes it sound like more higher, like slightly higher pitched, less bassy, and I do like that. But then some people say the opposite. Some people say that it makes it sound bassy and less high pitched. So I think we're all on our own with what exactly these mods do for the board. I also lubed the rails. I didn't lube the PCB because I did not want to misalign the domes. So I still haven't lifted the domes from their original position, because that just sounded scary, is way too scary for me. Which is like, also, I was going to mention like dangers of modding. Like, one of the dangers of modding that's like not as bad as misaligned domes is you reduce the amount of tactility that the switch has because you like over lube the rails or something. Like, that's not the worst thing that can happen, because you can just clean off the sliders with like soap and water and then let it dry before you reassemble it or try again. Oh, and here's another thing, dangers of modding. So when you're opening up the case, there's this ribbon cable that attaches the bottom controller to the PCB. And it's really, it feels pretty fragile, because it's like a very small, slender metal bar that you have to kind of flick upwards away from the PCB, and then you're able to wiggle the cable loose from like side to side. Like, don't try and pull the cable directly out by the blue part. Try and grab it by the sides with like 2 fingers and like wiggle it free, because I almost had a pretty scary incident. But yeah, that's the board. I mean, I really enjoy it. It has a great weighting. I've been typing on like Gateron Blacks for 2 years before I got this board, or like, I guess I had the buckling spring. So I typed on Gateron Blacks for 2 years, and then I typed on the buckling springs. In Gateron Blacks are like 50 gram bottom out. The buckling springs are 60 gram bottom out, I think, or 62. And then the Topre is 45 gram actuation and like 55 gram bottom out. And I thought maybe it was going to be too light for me. I was kind of nervous. And sometimes I do misclick in like World of Warcraft or something, or Minecraft, but it's not like the end of the world. I'm getting used to it for sure now. Definitely just take some adjustments. And it's great. I mean, it's not as quiet and it's not like as artisanal sounding compared to like my Tofu or my stacked 75, but it's really fun, and I've been using it more often than those boards. Like, there's something about that return stroke. I don't know how else to describe it. I think the one noticeable part of tactility is when you let the key press back up and like your fingertip is still touching the key, and you get this really fun, like it really feels like the key is punching you back. It's great. Couldn't be happier with it. Kind of wish I had lubed the PCB. Kind of wish I had given my upgraded to a rechargeable battery mod, but for the amount of effort I put in, it was about 5 hours worth of modding. It sounds really good, and I mean, I probably won't buy another Topre board because this one, I mean, I love 60%. I like the layout. It has the remapability. It has the key map software, so you can like reprogram the board to have the layers be different keys, and some keys you can't reprogram because they, like, there's a sticker on the back there that has a bunch of commands that require different keys for those commands to function, so they don't let you re-keybind everything. But it's still really, like, I'm able to have arrow keys on WASD on my layer. I'm able to have a tilde. I'm able to like change where my volume up and down was and mute. So it's super good. The key mute, I don't know if the Pro has that, but the Hybrid does. It's a pretty good remap software. I mean, it's like way better than GMMK's. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way, and if it was, I hope you look forward to perhaps buying a Topre 2.